Hello, hello, hello. Can you believe it? We are on to day 5. What a journey it's been. And, certain people kind of sit around and they go, wow, been a lot of information over the last couple of days. And I'm sure a bunch of you are also quite tired, both physically and emotionally, because we're covering a lot of stuff. I said I'd take you on a conscious journey and, well done for being here. What I find fascinating, we started on the day 1 with the dabblers and the stressors and the masters and who was certainly going to commit to mastery. And it's always fascinating to me how many people fall off between day 1 and day 5. So anyway, to those of you who are here, well done. Pat yourselves on the back because you deserve to be patted on the back. I'm digitally patting you on the back in terms of that process. So where are you all from? Wonderful to have you all here. And, I love seeing the chats and the comments coming through, so keep them coming. So we're going to finish strong today. I'm a big believer that, you start how you want to finish, but equally, it's the finish that counts. And as my father said, rightly or wrongly, no one remembers who comes second. So I am slightly competitive. Let's go into this now. And I want to rock and roll, get my slides going. So, welcome to day 5, putting it all into practice, creating a personalized action plan to diversify your investments effectively. So, I'll remind you of the tips, playful attention, take notes, try and teach others, playful on, do the exercises, commit to 5 days, set your goals, have fun, and take action. And same thing as always, it's a beautiful, beautiful day here, so I won't be wearing some sophisticated suit and trying to pretend that I know more than you, because I don't. The point of this exercise is that we learn together. We're all wealth hackers together in terms of getting the results. I remind you of the resources guide. Shane's done an incredible job at sharing the resources with you. So if I go, let me just get the right sheet up. But basically here you go. You've got all the different resources. You can literally go through it. And everything's here. So you can go to any day and it'll be there in terms of the process. If you haven't caught up on the recordings, just remember that the recordings will come down at the end of the weekend. And so in the next couple of days, so make sure you catch up with the recordings. But Judd Dunning, Bruce, all the stuff from yesterday is all here. I don't know about you, but I think a huge round of applause needs to go to Shane for making life so easy for people. It's one link, everything in one place. You literally can go and get it and work through it. Okay. The WhatsApp group, the Facebook group, and now time for the grand prize. Who thinks they deserve the grand prize? Who has been doing their homework and sharing it in the Facebook group? So what is the grand prize? Oh, now this is where we have to have that drum roll. And yeah, the grand prize is literally the winner for the homework. And Sandy, it goes to you. So well done to you, Sandy. And really, really awesome. I think you actually said me. I just want to see. Yep, you did. Sandy said me. She deserves it. So she gets it for doing it. And Sandy, you're actually going to win the home study course of Wealth Going Global. So well done to you. Shane will connect with you and give you all the details. You literally are given what I've learned over the last 28 years. Shane and I have put it into a digital course, and we're literally giving it to you for free. So well done to you. And why are we doing that? We incentivize people to take action. So well done to you, Sandy. Fantastic. And you really deserve it. You put in a huge amount of work and effort into your homework. And not only did you put a huge amount of work and effort into your homework, but you also shared it on the Facebook group, which then can inspire others and others can learn and they can get motivated. So well done. You certainly deserve a huge pat on the back. And it's a classic example for me. And it's what I always say to people. When you share with others, you think that you're helping them, but you're actually being quite selfish because you're helping yourself more. So, Sandy epitomizes that, which I just love that energy. So well done to you, Sandy. Okay, congratulations. We've also got a new global investor. So if you're sitting here, and again, I said to you right on day 1, I said, just keep that door of hope open. And it's really interesting because in January, a lady called Lindsay actually did this challenge. So she was where you are today about 6 weeks ago. And she literally sent a message to us today saying the funds reflected and I did the DWG investment. Thanks for assisting me and apologies for the error. Very first overseas investment. Pretty cool, eh? So if Lindsay can do it, you can all do it. And, you know, she's managed to achieve that in, you know, since the last challenge, which was about 6 weeks ago. So again, I'm showing you these things not only to teach you, but more importantly, to inspire you in terms of what's possible. In terms of today, I do remind you that we will still have one more prize for today for engagement, and who knows what it might be in terms of the prize for engagement today. So engage in the chat. If you do want to join the VIP, there's still one more session this evening where, well, at the end of this session, where you can go and ask any questions. I think what becomes pertinent for the VIP is not only today, can you bring it together and ask any questions, wrap it up in general, but more importantly, you get access to the replays. So you get access to the replays of all these live sessions, plus you get the VIP sessions, and you get it for a lifetime. Whereas for everyone else, the recordings will come down after the weekend. You also get access to Module 1 of Wealth Going Global. So just you know, if it's something if you want to look at. Okay, the goal, globally diversified passive income. It sits at the middle here. How do we do it? We diversify across countries, currencies, assets, partners, and time. If you've got a big goal in your life, you break into sub-goals, and ultimately you break it into tasks and activities. So, who did their homework from last night? Your silver was to identify one risk in your current investments and outline how diversification can mitigate it. Name 3 things which you can do to find the right partners and the right information. Consider Wealth Going Global. So you can go read all about it and consider it. It's the home study course to get you started. And or the mastermind, which is where you can literally work with me, with the Calio team, and create a bespoke solution for yourself. And statistically, you'll move 5 times quicker, simpler, and safer towards getting your results. And then finally, as always, share one key takeaway, you know, either with your friends or on social media or whatever, because you're going to really help yourself. The gold, I would highly recommend that you find time as soon as possible, because again, you'll be surprised. If you don't do it quickly, you'll forget about it. You put it on the to-do list and you'll never do it. Trust me, I know. I do that as well. And so I would watch the video with Judd Dunning and with Bruce Sanders about, you know, industrial property, about medical office property. It'll give you a huge amount of insight. It'll also show you the caliber of partners. And if you're still not sure what to do, I remind you that you can literally go to the link, diversificationchallenge.com/discovery. And we've literally created that to make it easy for people that are unsure what to do and literally help them with the next steps. Okay, I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, but just as a quick reminder, you know, this is what Wealth Going Global is. So you get very clear on your 5 whys. It's literally this page. So it's this document that Shane has kindly put together for us. And the course, the digital course, literally answers all of this. You walk away with your wealth plan plus your investor strategy sheet. So you get very clear on your top 5 whys. You get very clear on the top 5 countries you want to invest in. You get clear on the top 5 currencies you want to invest in. You get clear on the top 15 assets you want to invest in. You learn how to make sure that you're investing with the right partners. You have a fully executed wealth plan. By the way, we're going to go through a wealth plan today. And then we bring it all together with technology in terms of that. So Lynette, I watched Judd and Anne this afternoon. Well worth the listen. So thanks very much, Lynette. Appreciate the feedback. This is the results you'll get if you do Wealth Going Global. You'll walk away with a fully automated, personalized wealth plan, and you'll also walk away with a personalized investor strategy report. The value, and again, I've been through this in a lot of detail. If you take it in terms of all the different modules and everything else that's involved, it's over $8,000 worth of value. For people that are part of the challenge, we're literally doing it for $279. And I know that there's a countdown sequence which ends on Tuesday. And the reason for that is that, again, we want people to take action because we know that action takers get results. However, if you think you're being put in a corner and, you know, you think there's risk, there's no risk because we literally have a money back guaranteed, no questions asked for 30 days. So purchase it, test drive it, don't like it, give it back. You would be the first, which is why we're so confident to be able to do it. But either way, we're giving it to you as a resource, should you want it. Okay. So, again, I remind you, do you want to build globally diversified income of at least $5,000, $10,000, or $25,000 simply and safely? Do you want to diversify your investments between countries, currencies, and assets? Do you want to use your limited time to get effective results with predictability? Do you want to save decades of frustration and millions of dollars to get the right knowledge for you and your family? Do you want wealth protection, plan B, and peace of mind? Do you want to create generational wealth for your family? Do you want to have a fully executed wealth plan and investor strategy sheet, and you want to get results? Well, if those are the things you want, and you want a home study course to be able to go and do it, we've literally built Wealth Going Global to be able to deliver that, solve those needs for you, and deliver the solutions for you. So if you're interested, go to wealthgoingglobal.com/join with the promo code DC50. Okay, so that'll give you the discount. I want to share with you a quick video, and it's just a short little video of someone that's done the course, and you can get their perception of what they thought when they did the course. Nina, thanks so much for joining us late in the evening. I deeply appreciate it. Just a couple of quick questions for you, Nina. A lot of people will be sitting here tonight, not too dissimilar to where you were a couple of weeks or months ago, and you were thinking to yourself, you know, as I understand it, you're a property investor yourself. You've read all the books. You're very similar to me. You've done all the courses, done all the books. But this investing internationally, and you know, is overwhelming. And often when you come on something like this, it can feel too good to be true. What was your experience? Where were you at during that time?
Yeah, I think for me, you know, investing overseas has always been a bit of pie in the sky. You know, I never felt that I would ever be confident enough to do it because, you know, I always want to know and understand exactly what I do before I get involved in any venture. So, so this course really opened things up for me and made me believe that it's really a possibility for me.
I mean, you know, for someone that, you know, is time poor, you know, one of the challenges that we've got is that someone like myself, someone like yourself, we're running busy lives, we've got careers, etc. And yet we've been wanting to do this for years. This course it's quite intense. There's quite a lot to it in a short space of time. What was your experience in terms of gathering the information, not necessarily or feeling overwhelmed, but you know, like do you understand that? Like it feels like it's a big mountain to climb. You've got that system, you can go back to it. But what's been your experience between that sort of overwhelmed, too busy, you know, at work, but ultimately wanting to get the knowledge and be able to execute?
Yeah, Scott, I must be honest, in the beginning, it was quite daunting to think that I had to block out 3 hours a week to attend the webinars. But in the end, it worked out perfectly. And also, I think just the way you and Shane organized the information. So if you did miss something, it was quite easy to listen to the recording and go back to the slides. And in fact, as you know, after about the third or the fourth webinar, I felt a bit lost and overwhelmed, and I took a day and a half out and I actually re-listened to all the material, which really brought a lot of the concepts home for me, you know. So yeah, I think just it doesn't matter how busy you are, as long as you can make some time in your schedule. You know, the information is there, it's well organized, and it's easy to access at any time.
Brilliant. You know, it's so interesting. I remember being taught by Dr. Hannes Strayer many years ago. People say to me, yeah, well, I don't have time to be able to do it. And I'm like, well, in 10 years' time, if you don't do something now, is anything actually going to change in 10 years, you know, like in the future, you know? So it's always what Hannes Strayer said and what he taught me is you need to sometimes look at yourself over 10 years and you say, what decision do I need to make today so that I can be different in 10 years? And then if it's important enough to you, you'll make the time, is what I learned from Hannes Strayer, you know, many, many years ago. Anita, last question. Sorry, after you.
I just want to say to people who are on the fence right now, you know, there's no time like the present. You know, a lot of us, and I think you told the story as well, that sometimes you wish you'd started 10 years ago. So I just want to say to people who are on the fence, the time is now, just go for it.
Awesome. No, Nina, I deeply appreciate that. And I think my final comment to you is, firstly, well done and congratulations for going through it. You know, so many people in life, you know, want something, but don't actually do anything about it. And you did, and I just really want to acknowledge and congratulate you for that. My final question to you is, what's it like, the feeling of kind of walking away with an investor strategy sheet, with a wealth plan, like actually something tangible? So not just knowledge, but actually having an action plan. What does that feel like to you?
Yeah, I must admit, you know, the wealth calculator was a bit depressing when I first did the calculations, because yeah, I mean it's a reality check that's necessary, you know, to understand that if you want to get to where you want to go, that this is what you have to do, and you have to start today. And so I think it's really valuable for having a wealth planner to know what you need to do from tomorrow onwards. And yeah, I mean, I'm really excited, and I can't wait for the deals coming on the platform. So I'm looking out for those, and excited to begin.
Awesome. Well, Anina, thanks so much for coming and sharing your experience with everyone tonight. I deeply appreciate you giving us your time. And I think the most important thing that hopefully everyone gets out of this is that you were in their shoes 2 months ago. And I know, as an example, you and Alex had a chat, and it was a little bit of a, you know, again, you know, for everyone, it's almost like we all need that little push sometimes. And hopefully, if nothing else tonight, your story can give them the push that they need, because it won't change my life. I don't care whether people get the knowledge. I've already got it. But it's whether they get it for themselves that's going to make a difference, you know.
No, absolutely. And yeah, can highly recommend. So go for it, guys.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Anina. I deeply appreciate it. Cool, man. So what did you think of that? Hopefully it gives you a little bit of insight of kind of real people and the real stories. Okay, if you're interested in doing that, literally wealthgoingglobal/join and use the promo code DC50. You don't have to use it if you don't want to. If you like spending money that you don't need to, I'm joking. If you use the DC50, you get the big discount. So yeah, take advantage of that. It'll be open until Tuesday. Okay, and then the other thing that I wanted to share with you was, you know, I speak all the time about the golden formula of the right information and the right partners. And I remind you that, you know, over the years, we've literally tried to build the solutions for you. So if you want the right information, we literally built Wealth Going Global, so that you've got access to the right information. And if you want the partners, we've got, you know, Asset Mastery, which, you know, literally introduces you to all the different partners and all the different asset classes. I also remind you of the little fun that we had in terms of that extremely challenging question. And if a doctor said to you, you've got a serious medical condition and you literally have to lose 10 to 15 kilos as quickly as possible, but they gave you 2 options. You could buy a home study course, or you could have that coach turn up every single morning on your door, knock on your door, and you know, hold you to account. Which one would you take? And I think it's kind of common sense that, you know, most of us, if not everyone on this, would take the coach. And, you know, if you take Y, according to Harvard, if you have a coach, you're going to be 400% better off. 400% better off if you've got a coach. And yet, people say to me, well, you know, what's a mastermind then? If I've got a coach, why would a mastermind be different? I've played this video for you, you know, once before already, actually twice, I think. But the point being is that it sums up perfectly. Now, it's literally only 30 seconds long. So just listen to what he says to really, really understand how and why this can impact your life.
Now, this is extremely predictable. Tons of research around it. Humans change 5 times faster in groups than they do with a one-on-one coach, consultant, or therapist in that case.
Wow.
So I started looking back at business models and people who had done this effectively over the generations. Masterminds aren't new, folks. They're not new at all. People have been doing this for thousands of years. And when you put a collection of people together who are all committed, all driven, and all so want to... Now, this is extremely predictable. So want to make the right changes happen. and you give them a leader to follow who's willing to get in the trenches with them, all of a sudden you start finding real, rapid life or business transformation.
So you're 400% better off with a coach, 4 times to be exact. You're 5 times better off if you're part of a mastermind than if you have a coach. According to my maths, you're 20 times better off if you do it in a mastermind environment. You're going to get there 5 times quicker, simpler, and safer. But it ultimately comes down to the group of people you join and whether you've got a leader that's prepared to jump in the trenches and help you get to where you want to get to. I know certainly from my perspective, there's a lot of things about me that are not good, but one of them that is pretty good. I'm pretty committed to getting the results, and I kind of do whatever it takes. So I asked you this question, and the question I suppose you have to ask yourself: do you want to stay in your comfort zone? Do you want to keep getting what you've always got, or do you want to go to where the magic happens? And that's why we created the mastermind. It's literally what we did. 5 simple steps. You work with me. I get very clear, or let me rephrase that. I help you get very clear on what your top 3 outcomes are, what your top 3 measures are, and we write them down. Then we work with the Calio team to look at all your tax, your structuring, your setup. We optimize your current portfolio. Then it's about creating a wealth plan to help you get from A to B. And then over the next 12 months, it's all about the execution and results. There's 2 parts to that. We've got the accountability, the mindset, and the execution. So that's actually holding you to account, making sure you got the right mindset, and it's about getting results. And then it's the investment rhythms in terms of that process. I shared with you what and why the mastermind was created, and whether it's Jordan, a 55-year-old, worked very hard in his life, wants to build a portfolio to ensure his wealth is preserved, and all the different things that Jordan wanted between globally diversified passive income, diversifying across countries, currencies, and assets, using his limited time. So the mastermind specifically has been created for people who are time poor. Everyone that is successful is time poor. And thus the mastermind has been created for time poor people. It's about condensed time. It's no more than 3 to 4 hours a month, but ultimately it's about getting the results, condensing time, having predictability, and getting there 5 times quicker, simpler, and safer. All the other stuff, saving decades of frustration, wealth plan, plan B, peace of mind, be accountable, work directly with a family office, generational wealth for the family, fully executed plans, and ultimately results. Or maybe it's Victoria, a lady entrepreneur in her 50s, devoted to her family and business, aiming to build generational wealth. She's got a very packed schedule. She wants a streamlined investment strategy so that she can make wise decisions aligned with her goals and freeing up with time to spend time with her family. She wants to understand the investment landscape. She's tired of people telling her what to do. She wants to feel empowered to make the right decisions for herself and her family. And ultimately, it's about achieving financial freedom to cherish more moments with her loved ones. I shared with you yesterday, Cynthia, and she said, the mastermind, thank God for the mastermind, the partners it brings us, and the exponential learning curve it gifted us. And I also remind you that after she joined the mastermind and met with Calio, she was earning a passive income within 2 months. And it's just fascinating. Even just yesterday, she was commenting on our mastermind group and saying what a relief it's been for her while her kids are in university. And, just to have that peace of mind to know that they're covered. So I remind you, if you're not quite sure, you've got Wealth Going Global as effectively the starting point. You've got Asset Mastery, which is the next level up on the journey. So you've got the right information, you've got the right partners. And then finally, you've got the mastermind, which for us is the top of the mountain. And what's really, really important is that if you want to climb the aspirational ladder, we've literally designed it to make it easy. If you join the mastermind, because I get asked this all the time, and got asked it again last night in the VIP, if you join the mastermind, you get access to the asset class mastery and Wealth Going Global for free. So we've taken all the decisions off the table. If you want to get to the top of the mountain, the mastermind is how to do it. Literally just go and, apply. So go to diversificationmastermind.com and apply. Nice and easy. Okay. I did say yesterday, because I had a bit of a challenge yesterday, if you remember, with regards to technology. And what's interesting is that yesterday I had no electricity and I also had no Wi-Fi. So I didn't have my whiteboard. So I'm going to stop sharing now. because I want to share with you just before I get started on day 5. I want to share with you the mistakes that I've made. Okay, so you should be able to see my board basically. So I basically have been doing this now for 28 years. And in 28 years, if I told you that I had not made a mistake, I had not lost money, and or I hadn't been involved in projects where other people had lost money with me, I'd either be lying, cheating, or stealing. That's my philosophy. I also believe that, you know, at the end of the day, you learn. So I've spoken to you already. If you call it Pareto's principle, about 80% of the deals kind of go according to plan, but about 20% don't. And if I look back over the last 10 years specifically, there's one common thread between the deals that work and the deals that don't work. Okay, so I want to explain this to you because I think it's very important. So there's two kind of methodologies. The one is the old school methodology, and it's all about control. So when you have a deal, you know, the bank puts in about 60% of the money into the deal. Private equity puts in about 30%, and then equity puts in about 10%. Now, if you come from the old school mindset and all about control, like where you want to do everything yourself, there's a saying in South Africa called, and I can't speak very good Afrikaans, but fair van jou goed na on your squatter, you know, it's like, I want everything close to me. I want to control everything. You know, they want to put 95% at least of the money into the deal. And the logic is, I can control everything. I'm in control. The problem is you've got lots of concentration. All your money is in one deal. Sure, you've got all the control. If there's a problem, you can kick people out and do what you want. But equally, if there's a problem, you have to fix it. No, I don't care where you live in the world. It's your problem. You own it. You control it. You have to fix it. So you're a very active investor. You have to be an active investor. And I believe this whole philosophy here is summed up by people who come from a scarcity mindset. It's I must control everything. And if I give anything away, I'm going to lose. Scarcity mindset. So I'll give you 2 examples of this. One, I had previous partners that are based out of Pretoria, and they had a big fancy investment committee, and they had all these fancy, clever property people, and they made a decision to invest in Australia. Now, I invested in the deal, and they flew to Australia, and they met the partner on the ground, and it was a new development. It was about 50-unit new development, kind of stock standard, where they were going to do pre-sales and then build it and then sell off the rest, and everyone was going to make a great return. If I stand to be corrected, I think there was no cash flow, but if I remember rightly, the IRR was 28%. Now, the problem was, the massive problem was that it was this mindset. So 95% of the money, at least, came from international investors. No Australians, not one Australian, except for the partner on the ground. And all the money came from international investors. And then the Chinese government changed the rules, and Chinese people weren't allowed to take money out of the country. So again, these are unforeseen events. I get the fact that due diligence can't see everything. It's impossible. But the point is, it happened. The Australian banks, because they lost all their pre-sales, the Australian banks changed the rules on, well, basically pulled the funding. And suddenly we were stuck with a 5 million Australian dollar hole in the ground, 4 stories deep in Brisbane. The partner did a runner, the developer ran away. And now we, the investors, there's 82 of us, own a hole in the ground in Brisbane, a big bloody $5 million hole in Brisbane. By the way, the investment committee members have run away as well. And so now we've got concentration, we've got control. Cool, lekker, we're in control of our big bloody hole in the ground. We have to be active, long distance. We now suddenly have to become developers and try and fix it. And it's all based on the scarcity mindset. So that's one example in Australia. Another example, same group of people, scarcity mindset again. They wanted to do medical buildings, you know, and I participated with them. I had a number of investors, same again, participate. And they went and they didn't diversify. So they only did medical, and they only did it with one partner. And they put all the money into the deal. So there's the partner on the ground and no one else's money from America, just international investors again. But don't worry, we got control. Until the guy on the ground basically has done fraud, and he's been collecting the rents, but he hasn't been paying the banks. And so the banks have foreclosed on all the buildings. And there's 8 different portfolios affected. And luckily, we're only involved in 4 or 5, not all 8. But the point being is that now suddenly, once again, concentration, you got all the control, but now you have to go try to fix the problem. There's no Americans in the deal. So it's just an example of old school mindset, control, and scarcity, and it doesn't work. There's another way to do it. You've got new age, and you've got diversification and partnerships. So if you take the same model, 60% comes through the bank, 30% comes through private equity, and 10% comes through equity. But rather than taking 95% of the portion, you only take like 10%. So obviously now you can have diversification because you're putting money, smaller amounts of money into more deals. You've got less control. So sure, you're not like a majority investor, you've got a smaller portion, etc. So you've got less control. But also you've got lots of local investors. Like generally 70, 80, 90% of the investors want to be local. You want local people to invest in their deals, trust me. And if you do that, you're an armchair investor and you come from a place of abundance. Fundamentally different. Now, let me give you an example of this. We did a deal in Manhattan now. It's a $14 million deal. They were raising $9 million in debt, in funding. The Americans, so high net worth and institutional investors and family offices, invested $7 million. Local investors, $7 million. Callio, who you met, our family office partner, invested $1.5 million. And we, Wealth Migrate, invested $500,000. So we have $500,000 in a $9 million raise. We're literally like a little sucker fish on top of a big whale. Now, do you think if something happens, if there's a problem, do you think those American investors, the big institutions and the family offices are going to jump in and kick ass to get stuff done? Of course they are. Which allows us to be an armchair investor. Because whether it works or even if it doesn't work, they're still going to be there to get it fixed. Fundamentally different mindset. And I'd go as far as to say that if you come from this old school control mindset and you want to work with us in Wealth Migrate, I would recommend you don't. Because we don't do this anymore. We stopped doing this in 2019, 2020, when I analyzed all the deals that worked and all the deals that didn't work. And literally every single deal that didn't work fell into this category. It was an old school mindset. And it's actually why we split our business and they became a separate business called Orvest. Because I didn't believe in this model, I believe in this model, which is all about abundance, diversification, partnership, and it's the way to do it, basically. It also allows you to partner with better partners, because if you've only got a limited amount of cash, you can only get into a limited amount of small deals. Whereas if you're taking a small piece of the investment, you can get involved in multiple deals and much, much bigger deals, which actually is better, you know. So does this make sense? Put in the chat box, please, if you can give me an example or tell me whether this makes sense. I want to finish with 2 last stories before I move on of how I learned this. So I was quite a young boy and my father was financial director of Rainbow Chickens, which is a listed company in South Africa. And the Rembrandt Group bought Rainbow Chickens, but they only bought 40% from the founder. And I found that fascinating because, again, you know, everyone's taught their whole life that you must try own everything and you must have control. And my dad was like, no, their philosophy is that the Rembrandt Group, which is one of the wealthiest families in the world, always only try by 40% because it allows them to be passive investors and to let the management team and the original owner and everyone else still drive the company. So they can be passive. Their investment can grow nicely, but they don't have to run the company. Fast forward about 10 or 20 years, I'm in London. I'm with one of my best friends. He works for a company called Strand Partners. They get bought by the Hanson Group, or they get invested with the Hanson Group. They're now called Strand Hansen. They, one of the companies that help people list on the London Stock Exchange. Now, the Hansen family is one of the wealthiest families in England that does cement. Exactly the same philosophy. They only invest 40% in the company. Why? Because they want the management team and the founding leaders, etc., to drive the company. They don't want a job. They don't want to run a company. They just want to be a passive investor. And over the last 28 years of investing, for me, I started to realize it's that scarcity mindset, which is, it's a dogma for so many people because they think they need to control everything. But all they're actually doing is they're buying themselves more complexity and more problems. Oh, don't worry, I own a house in London. It's mine. I own it all. I can sell it any day I want. Oh, and I've got my own management agent. I'm cool. No, you're not. You've just bought yourself more problems and more complexity. Imagine if you put your money next to Gary, armchair investor. Go sit on the beach, enjoy your pina colada, and watch the results come in, per quarter. And if there's a problem, particularly if you've invested with a whole bunch of institutional investors from England, do you think they're going to kick ass to get it fixed? Finally, I did say this. The good deals never leave their country. Let me say that again. The good deals never leave their country. So if you invest in a deal long distance and you own the majority of the deal, 95, 100% of the deal, the chances are that deal has been turned down by all the qualified local investors. So just think of that when it comes to the value chain. You're basically buying the crap no one else wants. And I'm sorry to be direct, but it's the truth. That's the problem with a scarcity mindset. An abundance mindset is that New York deal in Manhattan was not offered anywhere. No one even knew about it. It was literally through friends and family on a network. But by taking a small piece of the pie, we got access to the big boys table or the big ladies table. I don't want to get shot for saying things. Make sense? Okay, so a little bit of a tangent there, but I didn't go into that enough with partners in terms of yesterday. And I just wanted to share that screen with everyone. Okay, let's rock and roll into what is going to be day 5. Sorry, I'm quite passionate about what I just shared with you there. And even today, someone from the mastermind said, hey, Scott, have you lost money in different deals? And I said, of course I have. And I said to him that exact thing around partners. It's a fundamental mindset shift and was for me as well in 2019, 2020. And ever since then, the results have been significant for us personally with reducing stuff not working, etc., because of that mindset shift. Okay, so I'm not giving you financial advice like I've just done. I'm sharing with you my mistakes so that you can learn and just avoid them. Rather than fall in your own potholes, why don't I just give you some guidance and you walk around it? But at the end of the day, I am trying to empower you and give you the knowledge so that you can make your own decisions. At no point am I taking responsibility or accountability for the decisions you make for your family. And that's I'm not here for the lawyers. I'm saying that because it's important to you. I fundamentally believe in the 21st century, we all need to take accountability for our actions. Most importantly, though, that's a great thing because you should feel empowered. Don't give away your power to someone else, but equally don't be a blamer. So what is day 5 all about? Create a personalized action plan to diversify your investments effectively. This is all about implementing a diversification in real life, building a personalized action plan, resources for ongoing learning, applying diversification principles, and Q&A with real life studies. So, who here would like an action plan? Who here is tired of all the theory and would like a plan now? Alex has just put in there, what about the care homes? Alex, exactly the same thing with the care homes in England. I'm sort of jumping a little bit, but ultimately exactly the same mindset if you think about it. So the care homes were affected by COVID. They were pumping, they were paying us 10% return in pounds. Then COVID happened, 50% plus people died in the old age homes. Suddenly there was a massive problem of supply and demand because there was more supply than there was demand. The councils didn't need rooms. People didn't want to send their family, their elderly to aged care homes because they would die, basically. Sorry to be direct, but it's the truth. And so now suddenly there was no demand. And again, we lost money there. But again, we're in like 100% scarcity mindset. We're all in the deal. And we're not invested with a whole bunch of English and institutional investors. And so now we're trying to manage and fix the thing long distance. Same problem. All 3 examples, literally 100% fall under that scarcity mindset. So let's just go back to countries, currencies, assets, partners, and time. It's all about passive income. Again, to remind you, you know, what we're about to share now is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the wealth plan. Wealth Going Global literally takes you through this step by step to help you get a literally digital printout with your personalized journey. So what is module 5 all about? It's about time. Timing is everything. Portfolio construction accounts for 85% of your return. We're going to help investors design their wealth plan. The other thing that timing takes into account is the different types of deals and the timing of those deals. Now, this is a challenging exercise, and there's not necessarily, like, it's not 100% accurate. I want to be quite clear on that. But this is sort of trying to give you broad-based sort of guidelines. So in commercial real estate, multifamily, which is where you buy the whole building with 300 apartments, you're looking at about 3 to 5 years time frame. In industrial, you know, we've done short-term industrial at 12 months. We've also done 3 to 5 years. Medical office building tends to be 3 to 5 years. Office building tends to be 3 to 5 years. Co-living tends to be a bit longer. Often they have to be built, they have to be stabilized, and then they get exited to a fund or a REIT. So they tend to be 3 to 8 years, I would say. London residential, large scale, tends to be about a 5-year project. First mortgage debt, when you're acting like a bank, is generally shorter term, 12 months to 18 months. Retail tends to be 3 to 5 years. Senior living aged care, we've seen both. We've seen short for 1 year on the debt side, and then also 3 to 5 years on the equity side. ETFs of the stock market, well, you know, technically I could tick all 3 of them there, because I mean, it could be 12 months, could be 3 to 5 years, could be 8 years. I mean, you could never sell them, to be honest. Structured notes, I've seen both 12 months and 3 to 5 years. Gold and silver, you know, I suppose it's your choice. You can buy it and hold it for as long as you want. Private equity tends to be longer term, so it tends to be, you know, 8 years. Venture capital, I kind of put 3 to 5 years and 8 years. I'm probably being too nice there. I would say venture capital probably is more 8 years. And then crypto is, again, all 3. So hopefully this just gives you an idea of the different, you know, time frames of the different types of investments. You know, when we talk about it being about time, different investments have time, and then over time you want a wealth plan to get you to the freedom number you want. So we now move into the wealth plan. Now I want to share with you that I go into this literally in our investor roadmap, where I've shown you this before, where I take you through this 9-step journey, and I'm not upselling you to anything. It's free. All you have to do is turn up. And literally the second part here is all about building your wealth plan. So we will literally spend 4 hours taking you from A to B. So this is more like the diversification mastermind is more the overall theory. How do you get the right information? How do you meet the right partners? How do you build a wealth plan? The investor roadmap is right. I now want to learn how to use the platform. I want to learn how due diligence works. I want to see how the platform works. I want to know how to KYC and get set up. I want to open a wallet. I want to invest in deals. It's the rubber's hitting the road. I want, you know, to get results. So that's what it's all about. It's about 4 hours. And the next one is on Wednesday next week. And it's 3 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. South African time. So if you literally go to the link, you can read all about it. You can sign up and it is free. So it's time now for you to build your wealth plan. We said to you that by the time you finish today, you would have this whole sheet filled in. And so now we're on time, which is all about your wealth plan here. And I want to make sure that you walk away with a plan. So I'm going to give you some resources. Now, Shane, just help me out quickly. Where are they finding the resources, basically, in terms of the freedom calculator and the wealth plan, etc.?
So in the resource guide under day 5, you can click on the links there. I'll put the link in the chat box as well.
Okay, so I'm just going to show you where Shane has said. So look here, you can literally go to the wealth plan certificate, and I can click on it. And there it's downloaded my certificate. I can go to the completed wealth plan certificate. So if you know me well, I like to copy other people. And So again, when I did my dissertation, both at honors level and at masters, I went into the university and I said, who else is cum laude at their masters or their honors degree? Show me what they did last year. I didn't copy their content. I came up with a completely unique dissertation, but I copied their structure and I cum laude at both my degrees. So if you want to kind of start from scratch, you can, or if you want to copy mine, go for it. So Shane's given you that as well. And then finally, the freedom calculator. And what you do is you go make a copy. Come on, Google. And you have your own freedom calculator. Now we've, so go and open up these resources that we've given you. And you might notice, like Shane, how much do we charge people for these resources? It's what, $100,000 or something, isn't it?
More. Nope. All for you.
Yeah, no,
Just
it's
for
literally.
attending.
So we promise to try and provide as much value as possible. And so here it is. You've literally got it. You go to day 5, and there they are: wealth plan certificate, completed plan, and freedom calculator. You've all got access to it. You literally get to go and play. So I'm now going to help you figure out how to fill in your wealth plan certificate. I remind you of what I taught you on day 1. We start off with Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and this book that so many of you have read. And if you haven't read it, I recommend you do go read it. And he talks about the E, the B, the S, and the I. To talk about that in a bit more detail, you've got the employee, the self-employed, the business owner, and the investor. The employee, hard work, no time, no security. It's all about active income. You're stuck on the treadmill. The self-employed, you're a doctor, you're an accountant, you're a consultant. Many of you own a business. You've got large debts, insufficient funds, and stress. And again, 95% of people on the planet are like this, with less than 5% of the wealth. On the other side, you've got passive income. So you've got business owners, and they've got, I don't know about the easy work part. I certainly haven't figured that out. Stability and spare time. And then you've got investors, and they've got no debts, plenty of money, and freedom. And this is, 5% of people on the planet and 95% of the wealth. And so the question everyone should ask themselves, no matter where they are, is how do they get to the investors? And I remind you of the myth. I remind you of what I said to you on day 1. I tried to do it all myself. I tried to go and read this book, Real Estate Riches. I tried to go out. I learned from Dolph Duras, go out and I bought, as he says, go buy 10 houses, or, look at 100 houses, make an offer on 10, get accepted for 3, buy 1. I did that 16 times, bought 16 houses, thought, yay, I'm going to be free now. And all I did was buy myself more complexity. And, basically I got nowhere closer to freedom. And, again, this was me on a buyer's trip in Phoenix with, Dolph in 2012, spent $8,000 to be there. So, I've literally been there, done that, got the t-shirt. And something that Alex said to me, which apparently I don't emphasize enough, was that the game-changing moment for me was in 2010, when I realized that I was one of those people that just went out, read another book, went on another course. Like I was always trying to absorb more information, but I wasn't implementing the information I was learning, or certainly wasn't implementing it properly. And then Tony Robbins literally said, right, this is the way to run a business. Chet Holmes said, right, these are the 12 things every business needs. And he said, the problem is most people are trying to do 4,000 different things. Just do these 12 things 4,000 different times. And that was the mindset shift for me completely. Everyone is saying the same thing. The fundamentals don't change. So stop looking for more knowledge and just implement the fundamentals. And that was the mindset shift for me. Stop trying to do it all yourself. Model and partner with others and implement. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And, Simon Sinek has the second most watched TED Talk, and it's all about getting clear on your why. Most people, want to, know the how and the what. How do I make money? What do I do? How do I invest internationally? What do I do? You got to get clear on your why first. And if you haven't watched Simon Sinek's talk, I'd highly recommend that you do. So why do investors invest? Well, preservation of wealth, plan B, peace of mind, freedom, and many, many other reasons. I want to read you my why, because I think it's quite important. I have the freedom to live where I want, live how I want, how I earn my income, where my son goes to school, university, where I go on holiday, basically live a life unlimited. I want to be able to provide for those I care about, like my uncle did, without constraint. I'll explain that story now. Let me finish. I want to have the freedom to choose what I want to do with my time and with whom I want to spend my time with. I want to be able to contribute in a meaningful way and have significantly purposeful impact on the planet. I want to inspire people to achieve the impossible. I want to be a dream provider. I want to be able to leave a legacy and create generational wealth for my family, those who are important to me, and be a dream provider in general. So that's my why. And granted, you know, it takes some time to do this properly. And I've spent 20 plus years working on this. But at the end of the day, the more powerful you get and the clearer you get on your why, the more momentum and juice you've got to be able to make it a reality. So to tell you the story about my uncle, and I'll stop sharing quickly, because it's, for me, it epitomizes freedom. It was about 2 years ago. It was about this time in the year, actually, March, April. And his brother-in-law was sick. So I told you about my uncle on day one. He now lives in Australia. But his brother-in-law was sick and he lives in East London, South Africa. And the point being is that they didn't know what to do with him. So they spoke to my brother, who's an anaesthetist in Cape Town. And my brother says, look, if you leave him in the Eastern Cape, he will die. So they flew out from Australia. He doesn't have a boss, so he doesn't have to ask for permission. And he flew out on a one-way ticket with his wife. And they flew to East London. They picked up the brother-in-law. They hired a car. He couldn't fly in a plane. They hired a car and they drove from East London all the way to Cape Town, which is about a, I don't know, 1,500 or 2,000 kilometer trip. And he could go for as long as he needed. Anyway, they get to Cape Town. My brother organized for them to meet one of the top specialists in Cape Town. And the guy does the diagnosis, the doctor. And he comes, you know, and he says, look, you know, I need to operate, but unfortunately, I can't do it. He's going to have to go to a state hospital. And my uncle was like, why? And he said, well, because he doesn't have any insurance. My uncle said, don't worry, I'm good for it. Like, yeah, I'll sign for it. And the doctor said, no, you can't do that. Like, you've got no idea. Like, this could go wrong. He could end up in ICU. It could take forever, you know, whatever. My uncle said, I've got it. And anyway, the guy had the operation and everything went according to plan and it's successful. And, you know, the rest is history. The brother-in-law is living back in East London and everyone's happy. But the point of that story, and it makes me very, very emotional, just even thinking about that story, is that for me, that epitomizes freedom. You know, he didn't have a boss that he had to ask permission for. He could fly over for as long as he wanted. He could, you know, stay where he wanted and travel down to Cape Town. He could take his brother-in-law and sign pretty much an unwritten check or undisclosed number or whatever you want to call it for people that were important to him. And you'd never know with my uncle. He drives a Toyota Corolla. He lives in a modest house. You would never know. But for me, that epitomizes wealth. That epitomizes freedom. It's the ability to have the freedom of choice. That's what I want. And that's what I want to try and help you get as well. So let's go to the wealth plan. It starts off with your why. Then you go to your how, and then you go to your what. You literally follow the golden formula. And if you want to understand me better and understand my why, which I've just read you, I told you already, you know, on day one, this was me at the age of 13. My dad did everything that he was told to do. He went to school, he went to university, he worked hard, got a great degree, became a chartered accountant, became financial director of a listed company, invested, paid his taxes, and at the age of 59, died broke. I was like, that's BS. Like, that's ridiculous. And again, Dr. Anastraya taught me that 94% of people will follow my father. 5% of people will be financially trapped. And only 1% of people get to being wealthy at the age of 65. And I was like, nope, that's a shit plan. I'm not following that. Sorry for swearing, but I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. That's a stupid plan. And, you know, I love technology. I've been programming on a Commodore 64 since I was 6 years old. I love Monopoly. And I've basically been trying to marry together technology and Monopoly my whole life. I also come from a country where there's a massive wealth gap between the haves and the have-nots. You can go and do all the research in the world, and the top 1%'s wealth just continues to grow every single year. And when I ask people, I say, and maybe I'll ask you now quickly, what do you think the reason is that their wealth continues to grow? More than yours or mine? knowledge. They know the right people to get the best deals, better info, better partners, diversified assets, willing to take risks, access to resources, right info, right partners, compound interest, access, a financially fine signing a blank check. They're not spending it all, a plan, partners, a mindset, assets and partners. So well done to everyone. Like, they're all great ideas. But the bottom line is they're investing in better assets. Their assets are outperforming what the 99% are doing. It's that simple. You know, where you live in the world has a big impact on your wealth. Whether you're a male or a female has a massive impact on your wealth. And equally, when you were born in time has a massive impact on your wealth. 49% of the world's wealth is held in real estate, in property, and yet only 12.9% of the world's population has access to that. And of that 12.9% on this planet, less than 1% of people retire wealthy at the age of 65. We basically, our why is we literally said, why don't we change that? Why don't we use technology to help everybody invest like the top 1%? We're driven by this formula or the statement by Zig Ziglar, where, you know, he said, you can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. Now, I love what I do. I'm deeply, deeply grateful and passionate that I get to share, you know, my knowledge with people and that they want to learn and listen. But at the end of the day, I want globally diversified passive income, and I want lots of it. And so the more people I can help and the more value that I can add to people's lives, the more globally diversified passive income I can build for them, the more globally diversified passive income I'll get for myself. That's the philosophy of community and working together. Our vision is to make investing as simple as a swipe of a finger and ultimately to get to $1. And again, why $1? $1 is not going to change your life, but it can change your habits. And if we can change your habits, we can change your life. So, time to get your wealth plan done. And so I remind you, Shane's given you the resources, the freedom calculator and the wealth plan. Maybe Shane, if you don't mind just putting them in the chat box again for people. I do also remind you that if you do the Wealth Going Global course, it'll literally take you step by step through this process and you'll walk away with an automated wealth plan at the end. But if you want to do it yourself, we're going to give you the tools as well. So it's a 4-step formula to do this. The first step is the goal. So you have to figure out what you want in cash flow. So if I go back here to my wealth plan and I say to myself, I don't know, let's just say I want $5,000. Now, I think this calculator is pretty cool. It was built by one of our mastermind members, a lady called Diana. She's amazing. Look, we've been building these for years, but what she's done is make it really easy for people. It's a Google sheet. Everyone has access to Google. And people say to me, is it 100% accurate? No, it's not. Probably 90, 95% accurate. To have a 100% accurate calculator would take me 3 weeks just to teach you how to use the calculator. But isn't it better to have something that's 90 to 95% accurate and it's really simple to use? And because nothing's 100% right anyway, but it gives you a good idea of where you're going and what the predictable future looks like. And you can learn how to do it in half an hour. Can we agree that that makes a lot of sense? So your goal, $5,000. Now, by the way, you can change that to any currency you like, and you can also compare it to any currency you like. So I always put stuff in US dollars, whether you like it or not. It is the reserve currency right now. And so, you know, if you're a global citizen, you should be thinking in dollars. You might be earning in other currencies, but you should be thinking in dollars. So you got dollars, and then if you got other currencies, whether it's pound or whatever you want, you can literally put it all here. And this links directly to an online exchange rate. So again, it's all automated and updated on an ongoing basis. So step one, how much passive income do you need per month? If you don't know the number, first problem. Step two, the formula. So you need to figure out how much capital you need based on the average cash on cash return. So let's go back here. So you don't need to worry about these things here. You only fill in the ones in white. So if you don't know the cash on cash return to put in, I'd recommend 8%. Okay. 7, 6, 5, too low. 9, 10, 15, too high. 8% cash on cash is a good, stable, predictable, achievable return. So if you don't know what to do, make it 8. How much starting capital do you have? I don't know. Maybe you have a house and I don't know, use any country you want, but you know, you got $50,000, R1,000,000, whatever. But you got equity in your property. So you got some starting capital and you want to invest, I don't know, $200 a month. And you want to increase that. I mean, you should be aiming to increase every year because hopefully you're adding more value and making more money. So you want to increase that by 10%. So if we go back to the formula here, you need to figure out how much capital you need based on the average cash on cash. So basically, if we go back to here, you figured out how much capital you need. It's there in green. Okay, so capital after tax, it's literally worked out your capital. Step 3, the plan. Then you need to figure out how much you need to invest per month and for how long to achieve the goal. So I already kind of started doing that. So you go here and you go, well, I'm going to invest $200 a month. That's what I can afford at the moment. I'm going to grow that by 10% a year. And I'm going to have an average return of about 15%. And I want to do it for 7 years. Well, sorry for you, but if you look at the current numbers, you're in the red. Now your goal, you need to get that into the green. So let's you know, maybe if I do it over a longer period, oh, I'm free. But it's 20 years. Okay, that's a bit long for me. So what about 19 years? Whoop, 18 years. Nope, I'm not. It's 19 years. My number is 19 years. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there's your plan. So the beauty with this calculator is that the 8% cash on cash and the 15% IRR is pretty standard. Like I wouldn't play with that too much. So you've got two choices. You can either put in more money and have less time, or you can put in less money and you need more time. More money, less time. Less money, more time. I'll give you an example. You say, no, I'm going to do $1,000 a month. Now it's only going to take me 14 years. Do you get the point? There's no fancy thing here. And by the way, you can't break the calculator. So the beauty is you just play around with it. It's literally you just play around and you go up and down and you're like, 1,000 might be a bit too much, or you know what I mean, maybe, you know, etc. But you literally play around with it until you get it in green. Can you lower the goal per month? You can make it whatever you like. I told you, you can, you know, you can make it 100 if you want. But the point being is that you're then going to need more time. You need 20 years if it's at $100. So some people kind of look at this and they say, yo, okay. And they get quite scared and all that type of stuff. But this is the facts, ladies and gentlemen. You've got tax in there. So what you now do is you say, okay, well, the year is 2024. And I'm currently, you know, whatever, I'm 47. So it means I will be retired in 2044 at the age of 67. So myth number 3 is that there's one massively great investment out there. And from my experience, that doesn't really exist. The way people get wealthy is by consistency. It's about discipline and doing it on an ongoing basis. And so finally, you've got the result, and that's about sticking to the formula, measuring, tracking, and keeping going. And if you do all of that, you know, ultimately you go back to your wealth plan. So if I go back to the wealth plan and I go back to my wealth plan, you can literally go, by the way, on the PDF that Shane's given you, it's pretty cool. You can either write it on a pen or you can type it. Pretty cool, huh? So this is Joe's soap. Why is it doing that? Anyway, and then what you're going to do basically is you go and you say my passive goal. So if you go here and you say, yeah, this is going to be tricky because now I've got to have this in front of me. Let me just open this thing quickly. I just want to open it in the PDF viewer because it'll be easier. Oh, come on, man. Why is it not opening in the PDF viewer? Okay, there we are, finally. So I can now go Joe's soap. I can put in my Y's there, you know, XXX, whatever. Now I go down here and I say my freedom goal. So according to what I just did, was $5,000. My cash on cash was 8%. I commit to fund, and what did we come up with in the end? It was $100. My IRR is 15%. I'm aiming to invest for 20 years. I'll be free in the year 2044, and I'll be age 67. I commit to start on, hopefully, Leap Day 2024. And then, you know, you can print this, sign it, and even get a witness. I'm going to stop sharing quickly. Do you know how people like try and overcomplicate the world? And you know how I just said to you, simplicity is power? There you have it. People literally go, yeah, but what about this? What about, no, hang on. I told you already right up front. It's about 90 to 95% accurate. Would you rather have a plan that's 90, 95% accurate? And by the way, no plan's accurate because no one knows the future. No one saw COVID coming. But if you have a plan and you can predictably and accountably stick to your plan, and you've got a 90 to 95% accuracy of getting to your target, is that not more powerful than where you are at the moment? Yes or no? We've given you the tools for free. We've taught you how to do it. You can literally go and play around and do it yourself. And, you know, someone said, what about inflation on your monthly amount? You know, we've taken into account, because we've said time value of money and the freedom goal in today's money. And the logic is that with time, inflation will go up, everything will go up, your income will go up, and everything. But ultimately, it's about bringing it back to today's money. So it's not what do you want to earn in 20 years' time. It's what do you need now in today's money. And the logic will be, it will be the same amount roughly in the future. Again, I can give you calculators. I've been on courses. I've literally been on courses. Dr. Hunt Australia is one of them. As an example, he's got a beautiful calculator. It takes an entire day just to learn how to use the course. I don't want to do that. In 30 minutes, I want to teach you how to do this. Simplicity is power. Please explain how and why you add your house. Look, at the end of the day, you still got equity in your house. You know, my mom's just moved into a retirement home. She sold her house, used that money to buy a retirement home. It's still equity. It's still stuff you can use to live and you know, create your life. So yeah, if you want to be more conservative, don't use your house. At the end of the day, it's your choice. There's no 100% accurate way of doing this. But the bottom line is there is, you know, simplicity and making it easy for people. So you can do it all yourself, or if you want to use what Shane's done, which is pretty incredible, you can literally go and do Wealth Going Global. I see I'm going to have to sign in here, just 2 seconds. Shane, please remember you need to add asset mastery to the left-hand side. Okay, so we go into the course. You literally go through your power of clarity, you go through your countries, you go through your currencies every single time. So like if you go through your top 5 countries, at the end of every module, you literally fill in like which are yours, residential, like it helps you all the way through the process. You get down to the end, you get to your wealth plan, and it literally populates your own personalized wealth plan, all digitally printed out and everything based on what you've created over the last 6 modules. So there's the wealth plan, the why, the how, and the what. And, you then put your investment strategies report together and you download it and you've got your own personalized investor strategy report. I don't know about you guys, but I think Shane's a genius because, he's literally made it so easy for you. So we've given you tools. You can go and do it for free, no problem. Or you can go and use Wealth Going Global and it'll literally hold your hand and, in a home study environment and literally take you through it. Okay. The definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. If it's working for you, perfect. If it's not working for you, then I highly recommend you do something different. And again, remember that I started off in some of the videos I sent you before the challenge started. What are your internal beliefs that are holding you back? What are your external beliefs that are holding you back? A lot of people will be saying, oh yeah, but it sounds too good to be true. Why? Why does it always have to be so complicated? It doesn't. Get a plan. Be involved in doing it yourself, because then you're going to be 5 times more committed because it's your plan. And just do it. Some people say to me, we spoke yesterday with Solon about some deals. This deal is available on the platform. In fact, we're literally closing a tranche tonight. And, people invest in the month of February because it gets paid every month. They will literally earn income in the month of March. It's an 8% cash on cash return. It's a 15% IRR. And it's a 3 to 5 year investment. So there you've got an industrial building in America, 20-year lease. The partner's got $500 million in revenue. And, you're getting an 8% return, 15% IRR. So again, people say, oh, but I've just done my plan. Where do I get deals? Well, I don't know. You can go anywhere you want. But on Migrate, we consistently bring you 2 to 3 deals every month. There's a German deal where you can literally go and look at it. Again, it's about a 6.5% return cash on cash in euros and about a 15% IRR in terms of the overall process. There's a deal that's not on the platform, but it's coming, called Backed. And this one is about a 9% cash on cash. It's out of Austin, America. It's in the private equity space. So there's multiple different deals. There's a deal, I spoke to Gary Sachs yesterday about bringing that London residential institutional deal. There's a deal coming from them. There's another one coming from the team in Manhattan. So there's some great deals always that are sort of coming in terms of that process and where you're going. So, I'd like to think, and I know possibly I'm coming across as aggressive / arrogant, but I don't believe the excuses exist anymore. I truly don't. Because platforms like Wealth Migrate are literally available. You can get involved with minimum investment amounts. You've got access to the knowledge. You've got access to the partners. So people can't tell me they don't have the time. They can't tell me they don't have the money. They can't tell me they don't have the knowledge. And so then it really brings me back to this question, that if you're not doing anything and you haven't committed already to doing something, does it feel like you're drinking from a fire hose? Because I always get accused of that. I know that I've shared a hell of a lot of information with you in 5 days by intention. And one of my weaknesses is that I want to share too much. 28 years worth of knowledge. I love gathering knowledge. I love sharing. But sometimes people say, Scott, it's just too much. And I'm like, okay, I apologize. I apologize for trying to add too much value. But I remind you, and I know it feels like a lifetime ago, but we started off on day 1 and I asked you a question. I said, what would it mean to you in 12 months or less to be earning globally diversified passive income without any hassle or complexity? That lady that was on the challenge, I forget her name right now, Linda, I think it was, in January. So the middle of January, she's now gone on the platform. She's done the knowledge stuff. She's KYC'd herself and got her wallet set up. She's invested today. She'll be getting her first dividend in March. So don't tell me it's not possible in 12 months. It's very possible. She's going to get it within 2 months. And the other question I asked, how would you like a system which will statistically help you get there 70% faster, simpler, and safer? Now, I asked you those questions 5 days ago, and I'm sure many of you sat there and went, well, sounds too good to be true. What about if it's not? What about if what I've shown you over the last 5 days, I've literally tried to teach you how to do it. I've shown you what other people have done. You've met other people. And hopefully we've turned your hope into belief that it's possible. So I want to share with you something that I find fascinating. And I learned this from a guy called Roger Hamilton. So in school, we're taught we must go out and get clarity. So I must go to school, I must learn lots, then I must go to university, I must learn lots more. And once I learn lots of stuff, then I'm going to get the clarity. And once I got the clarity, I'll have the confidence. And only once I've got the confidence will I make a commitment. You know, one day when I've learned it all and I've got the confidence, will I make a commitment and I'll actually become, you know, I don't know, a business owner or an investor or something. And then one day I'll get success. I mean, that's what we were taught in school. But it's wrong. And I want to explain to you why it's wrong. One of the richest men in the world is Andrew Carnegie. And he's actually the man that was behind this book, Think and Grow Rich. So he paid a guy called Napoleon Hill to go and research, you know, I think it was about 50 of the wealthiest people in the world at the time. Everyone from Albert Einstein to Henry Ford, to JP, Morgan, et cetera. And he went out and he said, right, like, I need you to find out what the formula for success is. But what's interesting is that he spoke about his own formula for success, and his story is a phenomenal one because he was a Scotsman living in America and he wanted to build a steel mill. Now, at the time, in the 1800s, all of the steel was being made in England and Wales and then being shipped to America. And so he said, well, I'm going to build a steel mill. And he went to JP Morgan. He said to JP Morgan, I want to be able to build a steel mill. Give me money. And JP Morgan said, no, you're crazy. You don't have a plan. And so he decided, he used that old system that didn't work. And so he decided to change it. He made a commitment. I am building a steel mill. No one's going to stop me. With that commitment, he then went to all the people that need steel, the railroads and the shipbuilders and everyone else. And he literally said, I'm building a steel mill, and you've got two choices. You can either sign with me and you can get steel cheaper for the next couple of years than your competitors because they're going to have to bring it in from England. Or if you don't sign with me, I'm going down the road to your competitor. And because he made such a commitment, people got confidence. And the more of a commitment he made and the more confident that people became, the more it became clear. And so once he signed up all these people that wanted steel, he went back to JP Morgan. He said, here's my plan. Here are all my people that are going to buy my steel. Now, please give me the money to build the steel. Confidence. I got that wrong. Commitment, confidence, and then clarity. Literally, commitment, confidence, and then clarity. And the rest is history. He became the wealthiest man in the world. And if you do time value of money, he still stands today as one of the wealthiest, if not the wealthiest man in the world. So what does it all start with? A commitment. My question to you is, who here is prepared to commit to themselves? Just make a commitment. Write it on a piece of paper. Put it in the chat box. Put it on social media. Send a WhatsApp to someone you care about. Who here is prepared to make a commitment? Just type commitment. You've learned all the theory. There's not much more I can do. You can take a horse to water. I can hold your head under the water. But at some point, you have to commit as to whether you're going to drink or not. And so from our perspective, what we've tried to do is share with you the ladder. You know, you've got Wealth Going Global, the course to be able to get started and learn, you know, get all the right information. Then you've got Asset Mastery, if you want to learn about all the right partners and meet all the right partners. And if you want to do it in a like-minded group where you literally work with me and Alex and the Calio team, then we have the mastermind. And some of you aren't ready for the mastermind. That's fine. What's beautiful in life is that when you get clear on the top of the mountain, you decide and make a commitment to climb the aspirational ladder. But it's your choice. 5 days ago, I shared with you this. You know, you're going to go through this journey. And I said to you, I don't care if you're a rank beginner or highly sophisticated, because no matter where you are on the chain, you're going to learn stuff that you didn't know. And you're going to go through this journey of unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence to conscious competence to unconscious competence. Most of you are probably going to be sitting somewhere around here between conscious incompetence and conscious competence now. Yes? No? Is it just me? Am I the only one that gets excited and enjoys these? I shared with you on day one the whole dabbler stressor thing. And what's so important is that we made a commitment. We said we don't want to be dabblers. I virtually guarantee you the dabblers aren't here anyway, so let's not worry about them. They've all gone. They've already made excuses. They're on to their next thing already. The stressors, yeah, you'll probably still be here. You're still stressing, trying to figure it all out. Probably trying to figure out how to do it all yourself. Don't worry, stressors. Shane's made it easy for you. He's given you all the materials. So you can go and stress away on your own, try to figure it all out. And then you got the masters. And I said, you know, commit to mastery. And ultimately, it's about modeling your way with successful people and wealthy people. And then even better is through partnership. So back to that commitment, you know, my strong recommendation, the one I learned in 2010 was mastery. You know, I introduced you to, you know, Jordan and everything he wanted between generational wealth and to be, you know, be able to build globally diversified passive income, wealth protection, a plan B, peace of mind, have a family office to be able to look after all of his affairs and his family's affairs, and ultimately to get results. I introduced you to Victoria, you know, an entrepreneur in her 50s who really wanted to feel empowered. She was being tired of being told by people what it should or shouldn't be. She wanted more time. She wanted her investment strategy to align with her goals. But most importantly, she wanted to know that financial freedom was possible and how to do it. And I want to share with you a gift from a gentleman, because some people will be saying, oh, but maybe I'm too old. I don't know where to get started. I want to share with you a gift of Abdul. So Abdul is a gentleman who is 71 or 72 years old, early 70s. He joined the mastermind about 6 months ago, and such a fascinating character. He's got incredible insights, and I highly recommend that you watch this video where I interviewed him, because he's got some incredible gifts and knowledge to share with you. And again, you've heard from Cynthia, you've heard from Michael, you've heard from Niels. Well, let's hear from someone else about what is possible. And again, I strongly recommend that while you're listening, not only take away his pearls of wisdom, but think to yourself, if he can do it, I can do it. So Abdul, thanks for joining us. I know that you've just had an operation, so I really appreciate you jumping on and joining us and sharing. Tell us just a little bit about yourself. You've got a fascinating story of your background and accounting and, you know, auditing and everything in between. I'd love to know, like, just people to understand who you are. Oh, hang on. We need to unmute you, Abdul. Can you just unmute yourself?
Yeah, there we go.
Awesome. Got you.
Thank you, Scott. Yes, indeed, I had my episode of surgery. They put 8 implants in my mouth,
Oh, wow.
and I thought initially it was going to be a walk in the park, and it proved otherwise. But anyway, we're here to talk. Okay, for 3 days, I could not even say a word. But anyway, we're here.
Well, thank you so much for coming and sharing your experience with everyone, because I deeply appreciate it.
Okay. In terms of, the brief you extend to me, I, again, with pleasure, share. And I think just a little I covered, that you covered now towards the end when you say commitment. But commitment can only come from belief. If you don't believe in anything, you can't commit to anything. So that belief normally is either a dream or a vision. So in my case, I learned fairly early in my life that auditing, I'm an auditor. Auditing is an extremely boring profession, and you need to have excitement in your life. So I've never divorced myself from the entrepreneurship of it. So the only person I really worked for in my life is that firm that trained me to become what I am. After which, when I got my CASA, the Chartered Accountant in South Africa, I opened my own office. And for the first month, first year, my turnover was less than my salary for a year. But that same firm that I started is now 40 years old and responsible for what I am, who I am, and what I have. So one needs to have the commitment, and one also needs to have the tenacity and the wherewithal to stay the course. And that comes from that belief, that absolute belief that you're going to succeed.
It's
So
what you just said there. Sorry, I just want to butt in, but I just want to reinforce what you just said there, because we're all going to have dark days. We're all going to have dark weeks, dark months, and even dark years. But if you've got that belief to keep going, and you've got a clear goal in mind, it's only a matter of time until you get there,
Correct. And really, that is what it is. And the universe takes care of the rest, really, believe me. But if you focus, you know what you want, and you go for it, you will achieve it. And I'm a living example of that. In my little life journey from opening up my own auditing practice, the firm today audits the Auditor General of South Africa in terms of doing, pre-issuance reviews, etc. So, I mean, that's quite a way to come. The point I'm trying to make is that on the entrepreneurial side, I was introduced to property. And the first property transaction I ever had was Newfields, way back in the 2005. Telkom was selling off land. And one of the pieces of land they were selling off was their trading center in Brackenfell, Cape Town, which was some 35,000 square meters of land.
Wow.
I did my homework, okay, checked what the square meter rate is for land, and quickly I realized that this is the biggest piece of industrial land in the area. And I said, well, we must win this. So I don't have money. I partnered with 2 other individuals, and I said, right, we're going to go for this. And they supported. We then made at that time, the price was 285 rands going rate in the market. But because we want to win, I made a few sums and I said, no, we must go in at 450 rands a square meter. And we won. And then we looked at who was the next or the second guy. There was at least 100 and some odd rands difference between us and them.
Wow.
And my partners weren't very impressed with me. But,
Outbid them.
That's it. And within a period of a year, property in the area escalated to 800 rands a square meter.
Wow, so double.
And Telkom more than almost double. And Telkom being what Telkom was, they drag their feet in terms of giving us transfers. So we're having a free ride. Eventually, I was approached by another property developer who was doing mini factories. And he offered me for 2/3 of the land, you're going to give me 850 rands a square meter.
Sure.
I said, great, I'll take that. Okay, so I was going to spend 17 million with Telkom. A deposit of 1.7 million is the deposit. And he was going to pay me 21 million for what he wants. So I got 4 million rands worth of profit. With the 4 million, and I'm getting 12,000 square meters of land for free. With that, I was the first to build a self-storage facility in the area, which obviously cost me for free. I eventually, after, I don't know, I sold it 3 years ago. I sold that same facility for 56 million to Storage, the listed company.
Sure. And you earned the income all the way through as well.
Correct. So that is what one is saying. And I think, in other words, I may not have known the storage business, but there was sufficient detail on the internet that made me aware that what is happening in the world is that we live in smaller and smaller spaces, but we are generally hoarders. So I developed the concept of, here is a hotel for your goods. And that place filled up within 2 years.
Wow. And it's so interesting, just to reiterate a couple of things you said there. So, you know, there's a lot of people that be on here like, I got no money, I can't do it. It's like, no, but you just said you had no money, but you got the partners in and got the deal done. And I mean, I told the story earlier, my first development was exactly the same. So, you know, it's just an awakening and an awareness for everyone on that. The second one that I think is important is that you took a sector that was new, but you did the research and you were like, right, this is future proofing. This is where the world's going. So we talk a lot about trends and fundamentals, and it was like, right, this is going to work. And then the third thing, which you sort of dropped it right at the end there, but most people, you know, I want to make sure they heard it, is that how do most people make money in property? It's by selling to a listed company, because listed companies don't like getting their hands dirty. They like just to buy assets that are working and are performing and the income's coming in. So Abdul and his partners did the hard work. They owned the building. It's called seasoning the rent and all that sort of stuff. I won't get into fancy terms, but in simple terms, it's just making sure the rent is stable. And then they sold it on to a REIT, a real estate investment trust, or a property fund, or something that's listed, who has all the money but doesn't want to get their hands dirty. And what Abdul's just explained is what I taught you a couple of days ago in the value chain of real estate. Like literally, that's the best way to do it in terms of that process. So Abdul, let me ask a question to you in terms of it. So you've been very, very successful in property in your country. I mean, you happen to live in South Africa, but it could be anyone. It could be a German living in Germany, you know, and because obviously you know the market, you understand the market, you're an accountant by background, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you went and decided to sign up for Wealth Going Global, you know, to try and, you know, I don't know, solve a problem. What was that problem for you, and why did you sign up for Wealth Going Global?
Scott, like I said to you at the beginning, I have this wealth. It's all localized. I have no exposure anywhere else on earth. Okay, so the catchy phrase from your side was going global, or diversified income going global. Now that appealed to me. In other words, yes, I may be rich in this country. What happens if I'm outside? There's all types of restrictions in terms of the transfer of my wealth, my assets, wherever I may be on earth. So that appealed to me. And I really, when listening to your you know, the initial thing you sold to me, I forget now what it was, Wealth Going Global, the program. It took all of 5 months, is it, or 5 weeks? Okay, and that really opened an opportunity or a process for me in terms of engaging in diversifying my wealth. And I must say, although I have the brains to think that out, why must I do that? Yeah, you're giving it to us on a platter. So we follow that process, and yes, we engage, and yes, we will get exposed. We have obviously since did do an investment again in property. Property is the economics, I understand. It makes sense to me. Okay, and we invested in that. And there are 2 more potential transactions on the table. Hopefully, I'll be able to partake in those as well. And yes, what I got as a product from the initial course was what is referred to as a diversification plan, where, again, one sets objectives. That becomes your dream, you commit to that, and now roll it out. Yeah. Surely it won't happen next week, but as long as it happens, I think you're on the right road. And that's the path I've chosen to take. And thanks to you, Scott.
Awesome, Abdul. Well, you know, one of the things that I just want to highlight and congratulate you for as well is that a lot of people have analysis paralysis. And if I take the journey over the last couple of months, you know, you did the course, you know, something obviously resonated, you enjoyed it, you joined the mastermind. You know, between Alex and I know you like face-to-face. So, you know, Alex came to see you and you invested, you know, and actually you've already earned your first passive income, like all in the space of, I don't know, 4 months, basically 4 or 5 months.
That's
I don't know
right.
exactly, but call it 6 months if you want. Like, I don't mind, you know, in terms of that process. And I just wanted to kind of give people a feel that, again, when someone's prepared, like, and I love your word belief, when they've got the belief, they've got the desire, like, and they're prepared to take action, like, stuff happens quite quickly in the process. You know, it's sort of, as you said, the universe conspires to get behind you and make it happen. So I just wanted to say, like, well done to you, because the reason I asked you to come and share with people today is that often people sit here and they go, no, it sounds too good to be true, or like, I don't understand, or, you know, maybe I can't do it, or whatever. And I've purposely each day tried to bring someone to say, well, look, here's a real person with their own real life and real challenges and real whatever. And in your case, a huge amount of experience as well. Like, I mean, you know more about South African property and particularly industrial and storage and everything than I've ever learned, you know, and so that's the beauty. We don't have to know everything. Like, we can collaborate with each other. I mean, I've even joked with Abdul, not joke, quite serious actually. I'd love to get him onto the investment committee. I think his knowledge is amazing and can add massive wisdom to you know, us and looking at opportunities around the world, you know. But that's the power of partnership, you know.
Yeah, certainly, Scott. And the other part is obviously one of the things you alerted us or reminded myself is that if you do things in teams, it becomes easier. Collective wisdom is better than your own limited and parochial type of ideas. So that's also something I quite enjoyed, in a sense that here's a deal, this is how it's being presented, it resonates with me, but it's thought through by others that I can relate to. Yeah. And that's also key, in a sense that we always can't believe that we understand everything. But in a team, each one has his good points and he knows what he's good for. And you put all of those together, you will end up maybe with a success. But if you don't have that, maybe we'll never get to success.
Yeah, it's people, a bunch of people are saying, inspiring story, love the collective wisdom, amazing. So thank you so much. I got 2 last questions for you, Abdul. My first question is, I get asked the question all the time, is it too late? You know, I'm 55, I'm 60, whatever it is, whatever age people associate with being too late. And they say, it's too late for me, I can't do it. And one of the things I'm so impressed with you, and again, you don't have to share your age if you don't want to, but the point being is that your mindset and your thinking is like, you know, a 20-year-old, okay? And I mean that with the greatest, no, because my point is, you know, age is just a number, you know, and it's never too late. And I'd love to just ask you the question, what would you say to someone that says, no, you know, I'm 65, it's too late? Like, what would you say to them?
Well, I'm beyond that, and it's never too late. The only time when you're late is when you're late, you're dead. Yeah. Up until then, you have a purpose on this earth, perform it.
No, brilliant, brilliant.
And that's part of that belief that we're talking about. You must believe, the first thing you must believe in is yourself, and that lease of life that you have in you. Practice it, enjoy it.
No, that's brilliant, man. Abdul, my final question, which I think you might have just taken out of my mouth, I was literally going to go, So what would be your final words of wisdom for people? And I think you might have just given it, but I don't know if there's anything you want to wrap up with, you know, for people that are sort of, they're here, they've come and sat, they're on the fence, whatever it is, you know, what, any sort of ideas or thoughts that you want to give them?
I think we all need to be thankful and grateful that we're alive. Okay, and then we need to understand the purpose of our life. And really, I'm a firm believer in that we put on this earth to create values. The ingredients for the creation of any value or all values is your time, your energy, and resources. Define the value to be created, and you'll be able to define the resources necessary for its creation. It's a formula. You can use it in any sphere of your life. It works.
Wow.
You want to know further about it? You can come have more chats with me. And I will also, like you, I love teaching, because I believe the best way to learn is to teach.
Yeah, well, it's so interesting. You know, Abdul and I didn't even prepare for this. And you've been incredible, dude. Like literally the best way to learn is to teach is fantastic. And I tell you what, Shane, I'm going to resign and Abdul can take over the rest of the presentation. No, that was brilliant, mate. Thanks so much for your time. You know, as I said, just come out of hospital and I'm sure, I mean, I'm blown away by what you shared. I'm just thinking to myself, right, I'm going to listen to that recording again. I need to write down that formula. That was amazing. So thanks so much for your time. That was incredible.
My pleasure, Scott.
Did you enjoy that? Abdul, very, very interesting man. And, you know, it's another example of people with the right mindset. Age is just a number. You know, it's amazing what is possible when you have the right mindset and you get clear on what you want. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed that. I love listening and learning from him. So the other thing that's important is that if you want to be in a group of like-minded people with Abdul and others, you know, you can literally decide, we've been through this lots of times, you know, you can do it all on your own. You can even do the home study if you want, or you can have that coach turn up and make sure that that becomes a reality for you. That's why we created the mastermind. We've got these 5 simple steps that we run through. And as a group, you know, we literally meet every single month from an accountability mindset and execution perspective, from an investment perspective, and we're working together as a like-minded group to be able to get those results. So if you want to work with myself and Abdul and Niels and Michael and Cynthia and, you know, a bunch of other people that you've met through this process, and also the Calio team, then I'd recommend that you apply. Now, just as we start to wrap up, some of the things that I think are important. A lot of people kind of get all the theory and they kind of go, oh, you know, I've spent the last 5 days, here's all the theory, I know what to do. But in life, you know, in practice, it's a little bit more messy. And so let's just kind of be realistic about this. And this is something I really enjoy, because if I ask people how they're feeling now, you know, are you overwhelmed? You know, you don't know where to start, information overload. I know I need to get started, but on what? It seems like such a mountain to climb. I don't want to be like the 97% of other people who fail because they don't take action. You know, I don't want to be one of them. I want to plan. I want to take action. I want to make sure I get results. But the problem with training generally is that there's no accountability, no monitoring, short-term feel good, failure to implement, lose focus and effectiveness as you share it with others. And then what then? Well, you're probably going to be like me. You're going to go read another book, go on another course, go on another seminar. As Ann Wilson calls it, a roller skate, you know, an octopus on roller skates. And you probably won't implement that either. And so what are you going to do? Well, you just blame everyone. You know, blame me because my course is rubbish, and blame Ann because her course is rubbish, and, you know, blame whatever. And the problem we've all got is that it's about implementation. And, you know, I did share this, but it's so important to learn. If you're learning anything, investing, time management, anything, you know, you started here 5 days ago, and I know it feels like a long time ago. Hopefully your skills have already dramatically improved. But the moment you go back to real life, your skills are going to fall off. It's a fact. But you're going to be in a better place. And there's only one thing that you can do to go up again. Do you know what it is? Do you want to type it in? want to see if anyone said here. Implement, practice. Yep, so they're all right. But the most important thing is repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill. You've learned a lesson, you need to repeat it. You'll go up again, you'll fall back down, but you'll be at a higher level. You repeat it again, you'll fall back down, but you'll be at a higher level. Repetition is the mother of skill, and it's what it leads to habits. And so I want to give you a bonus. And I had the privilege, if you do or don't know Tony Robbins, Tony Robbins is one of the, according to Essential, one of the 100 most influential people in the world. He's an incredible, incredible person. He's worked with the likes of Nelson Mandela, Andre Agassi, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams. I mean, you literally name it. The presidents in America, you name it, he's worked with them. And one of the things that he's highly successful is pattern recognition and helping people get results. Now, to put in perspective, he charges $1 million an hour. Yep, you heard me. $1 million an hour. He's an incredible, incredible person. And I basically did the business mastery with them back in 2010. And at the end of the event, they gave us a gift called Creating Lasting Change. And I actually flew to Fiji. And in Fiji, I persuaded Tony Robbins and Ched Holmes to go into business with me. So Ched Holmes has doubled the sales in 50 of the Fortune 500 companies. You heard me correct. So Fortune 500 are the top 500 biggest companies in the world, and he doubled the sales in 50 of them. And they had a company in America called Business Breakthroughs International, and I got the rights for Africa. So I basically opened Business Breakthroughs Africa. And I personally got trained by Tony Robbins and by Ched Holmes in all the skills of creating lasting change. And so what I wanted to give you as a gift is a training that I learned personally from them on the 7 steps to maximum impact, the keys to leadership, the 6 human needs, the skill of decision making, the formula for happiness, a scientific way to get results. So Tony Robbins teaches about the human emotion. It's the psychology of getting results and success. And Ched Holmes talks about the scientific way to get results. From my experience, I'm not aware of anything else on the planet that's going to be more powerful in helping you understand the scientific and psychological way to be able to change your mindset, to be able to implement, take action, and get results. And I literally want to give this to you for free. And all I'm asking for in return is that if we've added value to you over the last 5 days, I would ask you to go to Trustpilot and to literally give us a testimonial. Literally tell people what you've learned and whether you thought it was of value. And my gift to you is I will literally give you Creating Lasting Change for people that give us a testimonial. Why are we doing it? It's an ethical bribe. And the reason being is that people trust other people. So the bottom line is, if other people can learn from real people, real stories, then more people will start to trust. I want to change the world. We can do it. You know, it's that whole Zig Ziglar principle. You can have anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. So my philosophy is, if I can give you what I believe is one of the greatest gifts I can give you in terms of the psychology and science of success, and you can give me a testimonial, then we can both help each other. Because A, I will give you the formula upon how to get the results you want, and B, you will give me more ability to help more people. Does that make sense? Fair trade? Yes, no? Tell me to piss off. I don't care. If you're still here after 5 days, I assume we've added some value to you. So no, on a serious note, that's the sort of the trade that we want to kind of offer for people. And by the way, if you do a video testimonial, Shane, what do we do for people that do video testimonials? Because I know people hate, making a video. Oh, there, it's actually on the screen. But we'll do $150 off your next purchase if you do a video testimonial at the Wealth University. So yeah. And actually, Shane's created a really, really easy way to make it. Sorry, Shane, did I interrupt?
Yeah, I was just about to say that we've made it really, really easy. So it's just it's a little video that comes up. Scott's going to ask you a question and you just answer it. It's very simple. You just go through the process, 3 little videos, and you're done.
Awesome. So let's look to wrap up. You know, I remind you on day one that we said people get their musts and not their shoulds because they get what they tolerate. Hopefully you've changed that mindset. I teach you about, you know all of this, you understand everything, but you don't take action, and how you have to go through this journey. And I like the metaphor of the driver driving a car. You know, you can't just go and read about it in a book. You can have someone help you learn to drive a car, but ultimately you got to test drive and get out on the road yourself. I explained to you 3 different types of people: the dabbler, the stressor, and the master. You know, the master expects problems. They find a pathway. They look for the easiest way. They look for others who've done it. Success leaves clues. It's all about modeling. And I'll be honest with you, since I learned that back in 2010, I've even personally managed to take that to the next level, which is through partnering. And so the question is, do you want to be a dabbler? Do you want to be a stressor? Or do you want to be a master? I know I've never been a dabbler, but I definitely was a stressor. And one of the greatest gifts I was ever given was the knowledge, firstly, of mastery, and secondly, my commitment to going on that journey in 2010. And it's the gift that I want to try and share with all of you. The action steps for day 5: finish your wealth plan. Please don't give me excuses. We've given you the tools. Either buy Wealth Going Global, invest in Wealth Going Global and get it done for you, or, you know, we've given you the tools, do it yourself. But either way, get yourself a wealth plan. Develop a plan for diversifying your investments, considering your financial goals and your risk tolerance. Finalize your diversified investment action plan, including specific steps you'll take. And most importantly, take action. You know, Tony Robbins says, take one concrete step toward diversifying your portfolio before you go to sleep tonight. Literally one. Just commit and do one thing before you go to sleep tonight. And then, as always, share one key takeaway on social media. So those are your silver homework action items for today. Your gold: do a testimonial and get access to creating lasting change. And if you're still not sure what to do, and if that's the case, then obviously Shane and myself and Alex need to go back to the drawing board to try and make it easier for you. But if you're still not sure, then just go to diversificationchallenge.com/discovery, because we want to help everybody. I told you already, we want to help everybody to be able to achieve, to be able to invest like the top 1%. No matter where you are on the scale, we believe we've got resources and opportunities for you to be able to participate and to get what you want. So, you know, go to the discovery session and we'll help you with your next steps. And the prize winner for the engagement today is Rika. And so Rika, well done to you. I look forward to you joining us in the VIP room. I took a lot of questions down. I know there were a lot of questions about the wealth plan, etc. That's the value of the VIP room. I'm going to bounce now into the VIP room and I will help them with their wealth plan and answer any questions that they've got. I saw that there were a number of questions from VIP members already, so I have screenshotted them if Shane hasn't as well, and made sure that we'll cover them. Make sure that you stay and are part of the WhatsApp group. We do keep it one directional so we can just keep you updated. Join the Facebook group so that you can collaborate, and please tell people about what you found, you know, in today's session. Let's work together and collaborate. I want to finish off and remind you, remember the golden formula: the right information and the right partners. People say to me, what do I do next? Well, in the learning side, you've got 2 options. Give us a testimonial and we'll give you creating lasting change. And secondly, join either Wealth Going Global or the mastermind. And if you're not sure what to do, fill out the discovery form. So that's the options, literally 2 options on the learning side. On the investing side, join us at the Investor Roadmap Workshop. And secondly, invest. Whether you invest with us or you invest with others, that's your choice. But please don't be one of those people 10, 15, 20 years from now where you come to me and go, Scott, I came on a course of yours once. I wish I'd taken action. Alex and I hear it literally every single day. We hope that yours will change too. Scott, we came on that course with you and Shane and Alex 10 years ago, and I took action, and look what I've achieved. Wouldn't you like to be one of those people? Wouldn't you like to be one of our next testimonials? I'd love to do a case study on you one day and the results that you've achieved. I remind you the little picture, wealth going global, the right information, asset mastery, the right partners, and the mastermind where we bring it all together. We work in a like-minded group with me and with the Calio team to make your outcomes a reality. And that's our aspirational ladder. So imagine 12 months from now, if you were part of the mastermind and you literally were working on countries every single month, currencies every single month, assets every single month, partners every single month, time and time management every single month, mindset and strategic thinking, execution and accountability, and investing in review. Where would your life be 12 months from now? That's the formula. It's all about globally diversified passive income, diversifying across countries, currencies, assets, partners, and time. Nelson Mandela said, money won't create success. The freedom to make it will. I love this little video.
I have walked a long walk to freedom. It has been a lonely road, and it is not over yet.
This journey is a lonely journey. The journey of wealth is a lonely journey. Very few people understand it. Our family, our friends, our moms, our dads. It's tough. And, you know, you can do it on your own, no problem, or you can do it together. We're inviting you on the journey. If you want to figure out how to use the platform, come to the Investor Roadmap workshop. Our next workshop is next week, the 6th of March, and that is the time. If you want to give us a gift for the time that we've put in for you, I would really appreciate it as a value trade back. We'd love you to give us a testimonial on Trustpilot and or to make a video, and we'll give you a gift in return. And to finish off, if you want to go far, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time. It's an honor and a privilege. There's been some incredible comments coming through. Shane, if you wouldn't mind just grabbing them before we wrap up. I wanted to say a huge thank you to my partners, Shane and Alex. I don't think you have any idea how much stuff's happening behind the scenes to make these challenges a reality. To the rest of the team at Wealth Migrate, who are, you know, delivering, finding the deals, executing, and helping you all become international investors. I really appreciate their time. To our partners that give us access to these opportunities, to everyone that gives us the right information like Calio, etc. It's with deep, deep gratitude. But most importantly, I want to thank you, because we cannot change the world unless we change one person at a time. And so we hope that we've over-delivered in terms of value. I asked you to keep the door open with regards to hope. I really hope that we've given you the belief that it's possible. I hope that you now have changed your wants into needs, that you're going to walk away with a plan, and most importantly, that you're committing to take action so that you get the results. It's been an honor. Sorry, always makes me emotional at the end of these. It's been an honor and a privilege to share with you. Thank you for your time, which is your greatest asset. And if you enjoyed it, in all the things that Shane shared, share it with a friend. Now that we've shared the knowledge with you, you have a responsibility to share the knowledge. Let's change the world. Let's change the wealth gap. Let's make and create the planet that we want. But it starts with each and every one of us taking accountability and responsibility. To that note, have a fantastic evening, a fantastic week, and I look forward to seeing your results. Cheers. To the VIP people, I'll see you in the VIP room where we'll wrap it up and bring the entire week together. Thank you for the privilege, and see you next time. Cheers.